Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we will be covering about a new concept of MuleSoft. So I will categorize this as one of the advanced topic within MuleSoft learning. So yes, today we will be talking about this class loading isolation within Mule4. We will be giving us some background of what is class loading is all about with respect to Mule3 and what is changed in Mule4 as part of class loading isolation mechanism. And after the concept building, we will be carrying out some of the demonstration parts. So stay tuned for that. So let's start with this particular PPT presentation, and I will go into the presentation mode. So class loading isolation and Mule4. So what is class loading? So Mule runtime engine is developed using Java and many other third-party libraries. And Mule apps can also contain some Java libraries, particularly modules that extend the already existing Mule-based libraries in order to provide integration functionality such as different connectors like HTTP, XML, database modules. And these extension modules can also contain Java libraries, basically jar libraries. Now, what is a possible scenario is like, let's say we are having a Mule app 1 and Mule app 2. Mule app 1 is using this Apache Common Collection 2.1 version, whereas Mule app 2 is using 3.1 version. Now, if the both the applications are being maintained under one project structure, then it may be a reason of conflict between the Mule app 1 and Mule app 2. So the default class loading mechanism of JVM makes it possible to have conflicting versions of the same jar in the project structure. In Mule, each artifact, whether it is a runtime, Mule app, or Mule extension, is developed and released independently, but the jars of these artifacts are together in the same location. Okay. So idea here is we can have 2.1 as well as 3.1 version of the same jar within the project structure without any conflict. So class loading mechanism within Mule4 help us to achieve that. And how we can do that, we will be explaining in the upcoming slides. So Mule3 versus Mule4 approach. Mule3, it basically relied on hierarchical organization of class loaders. So though most of the Mule apps can see their extensions, the library bundle within them and their runtime libraries. But Mule apps cannot access other app libraries. That is, Mule app 1 cannot use Mule app 3.1. That is what we are trying to say over here. And because of this, there is a possible clashes between the different forms, like between the libraries from different extensions, between extension and app libraries, and app and the runtime libraries. What I mean to say over here is if we are maintaining, let's say these two versions, right? Apache Common Collection. So 2.1 and 3.1 can be a reason of conflict. Also within Mule F1, there is a possibility we are having one more module, or you can say the connector, which is internally calling Mule Apache Common Collection 3.1. So within Mule F1 as well, we can have multiple versions of the same jar file, resulting in a possible conflict. Now in Mule4, there is a slight change in the class loading mechanism, which is trying to avoid all these possible clashes. Let's discuss more about it. So Mule4 APIs, Mule3, basically it exposes all the classes that are bundled within its libraries. This exposure causes problems when upgrading from one Mule version to the next, because there are possible, like some of the functions or versions are deprecated. So it may impact your custom Java classes as well. Let's suppose you have created one of the Java classes which is using Apache Common 2.1, but as you move away from one particular version to the next, 2.1 functions are deprecated. So in that case, your custom Java classes are also getting impacted. So in Mule4, it provides a well-defined API that makes it easier for you to extend Mule and provides clarity on the proper extension points. So basically, we can specify what can be shared, what can be exposed to the external world as a shared library. So there is a way to do that. Like first of all, let's understand about the three basic APIs within Mule 4. First is the core API, that is the Mule message. Second is the extension APIs, which could be modules, message processors, transformers, or whatever which comes in the right hand side of the palettes, or you can say within the Anypoint Studio. Third one is the tooling API, which is all about data sense, metadata, and propagation, which is also included in Runtime 4. This API is bundled within the Runtime Manager agent as well. So these are the three main APIs on which it is being decided, like how to categorize the different artifacts which are being created within Mule 4. Now, artifact API. Artifact is anything which gets deployed, or it can be a extension, it can be the main classes of runtime manager. So, but artifact API is being used to declare what can go to the public or the exposed version of that particular module. Let's discuss more about this artifact API in bit detail. So let's suppose we are having a particular let's suppose we are having a particular piece of code in which we are calling a Java class. Basically, you can consider about invoke static method of Java. So in that case, if you want to make sure the same Java class is available for any other project as well, so in order to do that, there is a file which gets created, mule artifact.json, mule-artifact.json. So inside that, this particular tag, class loader model loader descriptor, we need to add this particular thing, and within the attribute there is exported packages. It expects an array value. So let's suppose org mule my app api dot customer is one of the package in which you have created some Java classes. Similarly, there is one more which is named as my app dot api dot account. You are having some account based classes in this particular package. So if you want to include both the classes which are present under these packages, you have to mention the same within the exported packages inside artifact JSON file. So due to the class loading isolation mechanism implemented in Mule 4, connector and module cannot access application dependencies unless these dependencies are configured as shared libraries. Similar to the Java classes, which I have defined over here, basically the Java packages, we can have the flows or DWL file as well, but there is slight difference in the representation of it. So to export the resources, we have to use exported resources, this particular tag. The rest of the thing will remain same. So within here, you can specify or mule app customer, then the DWL file if you are want to expose any such resource. Similarly, if there is any XML or config, mule config file you want to expose, you can mention within this particular array under exported resources. Resources is for the specific mule configuration files. You can have log4j2 XML as well, or any mule based flows basically. We will be covering both of these Java classes as well as resource file in our use case as well. Now, class loading isolation mechanism. Once APIs are clearly defined, we can prevent access to the internal classes of the artifact and only make the public API accessible from outside. So what does it mean? Let's suppose we are having a project in which we are following this particular folder structure, com example extension API, and there is a class my class. Similarly, there is an internal folder within extension, and we are maintaining util.class. Within the transformation folder, we are having this DWL file. There is some random txt file as well present over there. And once you build, or you can say uh, during the auto build process of the project, this meta inf folder gets created under the target. So this artifact JSON is also getting created over there. Now, apart from inside this target meta inf, there is one more mule artifact JSON which is getting created on the pom.xml level. It is having by default only these braces and min mule version. It could be 4.0.0 or any mule version which is on which the particular app is being created. Now, if you add these particular lines or tags from which can be copied inside from the target mule artifact JSON to the main artifact JSON file, then what it will do in this particular use case, it will make sure like customer to use a DWL file as an exported resource, and this exported package of Java class is being available as a public resource to any other project as well, which is using this particular set of resources as dependency, as a Maven dependency. We will discuss more about this in our demo. Next thing, it's a bit conceptual again, and there is a specific color code which I'm going to follow. So artifact class loader. Uh, these are this particular column talks about the class loaders, basically all the Java classes and how it is being loaded. So these are the name of the class loader which are responsible for loading specific Java classes. So let's discuss about it. Artifact class loader is a regular Java class loader pointing to the jar files included within the extension. This class loader load all files and classes of that particular extension. Extension code, the mule extension code uses the artifact class loader, that is this one, which doesn't have any restriction. So it is open for all, and it is only able to locate the resources within the plugin itself. Now, there is a mule app code as well, right? So it uses the artifact filtering class loader of the extension, that is this one, to prevent the app from accessing restricted code or resources. Basically, filtering class loader is a wrapper created over the artifact class loader that is on top of it, which enforces access restriction to the extension code for foreign artifacts. It uses the content of the mule artifact JSON descriptor to determine what is public. So just to give you an idea about it, this is our application code, and it reads the mule artifact JSON file which is maintained at the pom.xml level, and whatever we have defined along with the main mule version, that is minimum mule version that is being supported, all those exported resources and packages will be available to the public access. So how does it happen? Application code loads the resource using this artifact filtering class loader, which is acting as a wrapper on top of this artifact class loader. Extension code is responsible for loading all the extension or the mule modules connector based resources onto this artifact class loader. And finally, whatever is being mentioned in this particular application descriptor, this is being available for the exposure or public access. That is, if it is being created in one of the mule app, and this mule app will expose these particular resources to the any other application which is making use of the Maven dependency or the global configuration import. We will be discussing again this in our demo session, so stay tuned. So here we ended the entire concept building. So let's jump onto the um, demo part. What I'm going to do, I'm opening my Anypoint Studio. It will take a couple of seconds to load it. Let me open this Java module first, and let me explain how it has been configured. So this is one of the very basic Java module which I have created. Just drag and drop this HTTP listener which is listening on 8081 if I am not wrong. 1 second, let me check. Yeah, 8081. Um, yeah. So after that, there is an invoke static. You have to just add modules and look for Java and drag and drop the invoke static to the canvas. And there is a logger which is basically printing the payload. Let me click on it. So basically the Apple Java flow and the payload is going to print. Let's see what is there in the invoke static. So what I have done, I have added this class as com Apple internal API warning alert. You can locate the same over here. This is the package, and inside that there is a warning alert.java. This it is containing a very basic class of warning alert with this particular function as set message as method. So let me show you the content of this particular file. So string set message, and it will return a string message as plain warning. That's pretty much of it. Let's try to run this first, and I will explain the rest of the things in the later section. So I will select this one and we'll click OK. OK, proceed. Let me set up the Postman in parallel. So this is the 8081, and let's see the action. Is it Java? Yes, it is. Sorry. Let me clear up the console and hit this particular section. I got the same message as plain warning, and within the logs you can see this particular message Apple Java and plain warning. So now this is the mule artifact JSON, and inside target, if you see this meta inf, it is having mule artifact, and this is the mule artifact.json. So now just I'm trying to explain the structure. Whatever is being mentioned inside this class loader particular section, exported resources apple.xml, and this particular exported packages with this package name. If we copy this particular section within the mule artifact.json, likewise I have done it already. So it will make sure like these are available for the public access. So when I say public access, I can, if I create a Maven clean install on this, it is going to install this in the M2 repo. And if I create a new project, let's say this is a new project, test project, I will stop this console and let me show you. So this is again the similar thing, but here src main java is blank. Okay. Now if I drag and drop this invoke, I am able to locate this uh, com internal. One second. Let me search with. So here you can see it is coming up from M to the power. Okay. So in order to make sure this is being available to this particular project, after setting this particular entry in mule artifact.json, that is the main on the POM XML level, we have to make similar changes at POM XML of this test folder as well. So how to do that? For this, you have to click on the POM XML file and copy paste this particular group ID artifact version and packaging as a mule application. Copy paste this thing and go to your test POM XML. Okay, go to the dependency section and add it over here. Instead of packaging, remove it with replace it with the classifier tag, because all are classifier under dependency. There is no packaging. Packaging is only allowed at the application level, not at the dependency level. So having said that, also add this particular section under MMP, that is Mule Maven plugin. Execution ID, that is default validate at phase as none. Basically what it will do, it will set the default validate of this particular Maven dependency to none. That is, it is not going to validate it. Otherwise it is going to give you a error within the console. So just want to avoid that. Apart from this, there is one more change. Go to the artifact JSON and make sure this com example internal API is also added inside the exported packages. Reason being, this will be getting impacted at the target meta INF and it will overwrite the things. One second, let me show you. So it will allow these particular things as well. Because of this, we are able to see the set message and all the things are coming up. So let's try to run it now. We are pretty much okay on this particular line. I will click OK as proceed, and let's quickly check the action, that is test. I will go to the Postman, and this is the tab for it. It will take a couple of seconds to load this particular application. Let's wait. So it is now showing both as deployed. So somehow I selected both. So what I will do, I will clear up the console and try to hit with 8082 as test, and let's see if I am getting any response. Yes, it is the same as I was getting with 8081 as Java. So both I have created this particular method within Java module, and I have used the same as a shared library within this test flow as well. So it is working both ways. So this was the demo number one with Java classes. Now I am going to discuss with the shared libraries. Okay. So similar stuff. Let me close both of these project first. I've closed this one. Let me close the Java module as well. So this is a shared project which I have created, and let me show you the configuration of it. Pretty much very basic in nature. What it does basically, there is a logger which is going to print this is from the shared project, and there is a shared VM consumer. So what it is going to do, shared queue is one of the VM queue, and it is going to pick the message from it, and the logger, it is going to show consume message, then it will print the payload. After that, as usual, I will go to the mule artifact JSON, and here I have mentioned the exported resource as this shared project.xml, that is this particular file. Now I have created one more project as main project, and within the main project, what I have done, within the main project, inside the global element, I have added this import configuration and named this as shared project.xml. Okay. Apart from that, one more thing I have done within the POM XML of main project, I have added, one second, let me go to the dependency. Mule application, that is this one, shared project dependency I have added. So from where I have received this particular information. So if you go to the shared project and go to the POM XML, go to the POM XML of shared project. From here you can copy this particular stuff and copy paste to the dependency. Just replace the packaging tag with classifier. Again, the same reason, dependency is having classifier, not the packaging. Packaging is at the application level. Plus under MMP, just add these execution ID and phase values. So that's pretty much about it. Uh, I am on the main project now, and let me show you the configuration. This is a listener, basic listener as a main. There is a transformer which I have added just to print this message hello. There is a logger, like main project is triggered now. Within the flow reference, if you see the drop down, I can see the shared values as well, like the shared VM consumer and the logger flow. I have added this as well, so I will show you like why it is coming up. Okay, so if I go to the mule artifact JSON, not here, one second, to the POM XML. So mule application. Here you can see the Java module as well I have added. So because of this, it is picking up the shared Java module as well somehow. Okay, but I am not going to use it over here. Depending on the use case, you can use it as well. But I am just explaining why it is coming up in the drop down. So it is about it, and after that there is a logger, like I'm going to publish a particular message onto the shared queue, VM shared queue, and this is the VM publisher. I have published this message onto the shared queue, and ideally, if this is being published, ideally it should be picked up by the VM consumer, which is set up in the shared project. Okay, so this is the background of it, and let's now try to hit the main project. And let me clear up the configuration first, it will be easy. Okay, that's pretty much good. I will select the main project and click on run. It will take a couple of seconds to load it. So in the meanwhile, I will go to Postman just to locate uh, my project. So it is showing me as deployed. Let me clear up the console. I will go back and click the send button. Let's see. So it is showing me message as hello. Reason being the transfer message, I have placed it over there. And this main project triggered is coming from this logger. After that, this logger is from the shared. So that is what is showing that this is from the shared project. So I can show you that as well. One moment. So here you can see this is from the shared project logger. I will go back over here and click on console. Publishing to the shared queue, it is coming from this particular logger. Publishing to the shared queue. After that, it has published this thing, and it go to shared VM consumer. That is over here, shared VM consumer. This particular listener will pick it the message, and the logger will say consume message and some details. So so this is pretty much about it. Okay, let me go back to the main project, and so shared VM consumer showed the particular message. So with this, I was trying to explain how we can use the shared libraries, how we can use the shared flows within the two separate Mule based applications, how we can export the Java classes, which can be used on sharing basis, and with a hint about the class loading mechanism, the two different artifact loaders along with the filter, that is basically this one. How application code and extension code are separate, but application code can be made as exposed code using the class loader model loader descriptor. This particular application descriptor is at the level of this particular artifact JSON, and this particular extension code artifact class loader is at the level of target and meta-inf and mule artifact and mule artifact JSON. So this is referring this one. So this was pretty much about it, and I hope you like this video, and thanks for watching. Thank you.